Welcome back to our channel. In this video, we reveal some of the most valuable coins in the world, coins that collectors and investors are willing to pay thousands or even millions for. Imagine this: you're holding a simple penny, the kind most people ignore, toss into jars, or leave forgotten in their car cup holder. But what if that one coin, yes, just one, could be worth nearly $891,000? Not a myth, not a fantasy. A real, documented market value that has stunned collectors across the United States. Now here's the real question: what if that coin is already in your possession, and you don't even know it? Let me take you into a story that could change the way you look at every single penny you've ever owned. In 2009, the United States Mint released a special series of Lincoln pennies to honor the 200th birthday of Abraham Lincoln. Millions were produced. Most were ordinary. But hidden within those millions, a rare and powerful anomaly emerged: the 2009 D Lincoln cent with a mint error. Tiny detail, almost invisible. But in the world of coin collecting, tiny mistakes can create massive value. We're talking life-changing money. Now pause for a second. How many pennies have passed through your hands in the last year alone? Hundreds? Thousands? And how many did you actually inspect? Here's where things get serious. This specific 2009 D penny, struck in Denver, carries certain rare error characteristics, misprints, die errors, or unusual striking anomalies that instantly elevate its value. Collectors don't just want these coins. They compete for them aggressively, because in this market, rarity isn't just valuable, it's everything. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The biggest risk isn't that you don't have one. It's that you do and you accidentally spend it. Think about that. A coin worth nearly $891,000 traded for a cup of coffee. Sounds crazy, right? But it happens more often than you'd think. But this is different, because now you know something most people don't. You're no longer just holding spare change, you're holding potential. The 2009 D Lincoln penny error is part of a broader truth. The coin market is booming. Collectors, investors, and everyday Americans are actively searching for rare coins right now. Demand is rising. Supply is shrinking, and prices, they're climbing fast. This isn't just about history, it's about opportunity. And here's where it gets exciting. Imagine discovering one of these coins in your possession. Imagine having it authenticated, graded, and presented to the right buyer. Auctions, private collectors, high-end dealers, they're all looking, and they're willing to pay. But here's the catch, and this is where urgency comes in. The window of opportunity doesn't stay open forever. As more people become aware of these rare coins, competition increases. Prices fluctuate, and the easiest coins to find, they disappear first. So the advantage belongs to those who act early. Those who check their coins. Those who educate themselves. Those who move with intention. Let me bring this back to you. Right now, somewhere in your home, your car, or maybe even your pocket, there could be a 2009 D Lincoln penny waiting to be discovered. Not just a coin, but a key to financial freedom, to a different lifestyle, to options you didn't have before. And no, this isn't about luck, it's about awareness. Because once you know what to look for, everything changes. You stop seeing pennies as worthless. You start seeing them as hidden assets, and that shift alone, that's powerful. So tonight, before you dismiss another coin, take a closer look. Check the date. Look for the D mint mark. Examine it carefully, because one small detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million. And let's be honest, if a single penny could change your life, wouldn't you at least check? Your journey into rare coins doesn't start with a fortune. It starts with attention. And who knows? The next coin you pick up might not just be spare change. It might be your breakthrough. The coin sitting in your pocket right now, could it be worth nearly $1 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? But here's the truth. One specific Lincoln penny, a simple 1-cent coin from 2017 with a D mint mark, has shocked collectors across America with a jaw-dropping value reported as high as $888,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single penny worth more than most homes. And here's the part that should grab your attention. You might already have one and not even realize it. Before you dismiss this as just another internet myth, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked closely at the coins in your change? Not just glanced, but really inspected them? Because hidden in plain sight are rare minting errors that collectors are desperately searching for right now. And the 2017 D Lincoln penny is at the center of this frenzy. Let's step into the story. In 2017, the United States Mint in Denver produced millions of Lincoln pennies. On the surface, they look completely ordinary. Abraham Lincoln's familiar face, the same copper shine, nothing unusual. But within that massive production, a few coins slipped through with a critical mistake. A mint error so rare, so unique, that it transformed an everyday coin into a collector's dream. Now here's where it gets exciting. This isn't just about age. This isn't about having a coin from the 1800s locked away in a vault. This is modern money, recent, circulating, accessible. And that's exactly why the stakes are so high, because anyone could find it, including you. The specific error that's driving this value comes down to precision, or rather, the lack of it. Imagine a machine designed to strike coins with absolute perfection, thousands per minute. Now imagine that machine misaligning, doubling details, or stamping incorrectly in a way that was never meant to happen. That mistake becomes a signature, a fingerprint, a one-in-a-million anomaly that collectors are willing to pay enormous sums to own. And let's be honest, if someone offered you even a fraction of $888,000 for something you might already have, would you ignore it? Of course not. This is where urgency kicks in. Because the longer these coins stay unnoticed, the more likely they are to disappear into circulation, damaged, lost, or overlooked forever. Here's something most people don't realize. The coin market isn't just about collectors anymore. It's about investors, people who understand that rare coins are tangible assets. While stocks fluctuate and markets crash, a verified rare coin can hold, and even increase, its value dramatically. That's why demand for error coins like the 2017 D Lincoln penny is rising fast. Now, quick reality check. No, not every 2017 D penny is worth a fortune. I know, wouldn't that be nice? Imagine paying for coffee with something worth $500,000. That would be one expensive latte. But the key is identifying the right features, the right errors, the exact characteristics that separate an ordinary penny from an extraordinary one. This is where attention to detail becomes your greatest asset. Look closely at the lettering. Examine Lincoln's profile. Check for doubling, unusual spacing, or anything that looks just slightly off. Because in the world of coin collecting, slightly off can mean life-changing. And here's the deeper truth. Most people miss these opportunities not because they're rare, but because they're unaware. They don't know what to look for. They don't believe it's possible. And that disbelief costs them. Let's shift perspective for a moment. Picture yourself discovering one of these coins. You verify it. Experts confirm it's genuine. Suddenly, what was once spare change becomes a serious financial asset. You're no longer just someone with a jar of old coins. You're someone holding a piece of history that others are competing to own. That's not luck. That's awareness meeting opportunity. And the market is active right now. Collectors are searching. Auctions are happening. Private buyers are willing to pay premiums for authenticated error coins. The reported high-end value of this rare 2017 D penny reaching around $888,000 isn't just about hype. It reflects the extreme rarity combined with demand. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you going to be the person who ignores this, or the one who takes action? Because the difference between those two mindsets can literally be hundreds of thousands of dollars. Take a moment today. Go through your coins. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Look at every 2017 penny with a D mint mark. Study it. Compare it. Research it. Because every second you wait is another chance for that coin to slip away unnoticed. And remember this, wealth doesn't always come from big risks or complicated strategies. Sometimes it comes from recognizing value where others see nothing. A single penny. A simple mistake. A massive opportunity. So the next time you hear coins clinking in your pocket, don't ignore the sound. That might just be the sound of hidden wealth waiting to be discovered. You're holding a penny right now, or at least you think you are. But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking coin from 2015 could quietly be worth over $862,000, and most people have no idea they've already seen it, spent it, or worse, ignored it? Let that sink in for a moment. A single cent. That could change your life. Now here's the real question. Are you absolutely sure you haven't missed one? Because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover the truth behind the 2015 Lincoln penny with no mint mark error. Why collectors are paying staggering amounts for it, and how people just like you are turning pocket change into serious wealth. And yes, this is happening right now. Let's begin with something simple. Most people believe a penny is just a penny. It's the coin you drop, the coin you ignore, the coin you don't even bother to pick up anymore. But that belief, that assumption, is exactly why fortunes are being overlooked every single day. Back in 2015, millions of Lincoln pennies were produced. On the surface, they all looked the same. Honest, ordinary, forgettable. But hidden within that production run was a rare anomaly. A subtle error that transformed a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream. Now you might be thinking, wait, no mint mark? Isn't that normal? Great question, and this is where things get interesting. Yes, many pennies don't carry a mint mark, especially those struck in Philadelphia. But what separates this coin from the rest isn't just the absence. It's the specific combination of striking characteristics, die anomalies, and production inconsistencies that experts have identified. In other words, this isn't just a missing letter, it's a signature mistake. And in the world of coin collecting, mistakes equal money. Big money. Imagine this. You're going through an old jar of coins, maybe something you've had sitting around for years. You're not expecting anything special, just spare change. But then you notice something slightly off. The surface looks different. The details feel sharper, or maybe weaker in certain areas. There's something unusual about the finish, the strike, the overall appearance. That moment right there, that's where everything changes, because collectors aren't just looking for coins, they're looking for stories. They're looking for rarity, for uniqueness, for the kind of imperfection that no machine was supposed to create. And when they find it, they pay for it, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that once bought you nothing could now buy you everything. Now let's talk about the number that's grabbing everyone's attention. $862,000. That's the current market excitement surrounding high-grade examples of this rare 2015 penny error. And before you dismiss that as unrealistic, understand this: coin values are driven by demand, scarcity, and condition. When all three align, prices don't just rise. They explode. Collectors compete. Auctions heat up. And suddenly, something that used to be overlooked becomes the center of attention. And here's the part most people miss. By the time the headlines catch up, the biggest opportunities are already gone, so the real advantage belongs to those who act early. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your coins? Not just glanced, but really examined them. Because while others are scrolling, distracted, and unaware, a small group of people is quietly checking their change, researching rare errors, and cashing in. And they're not doing it by accident. They're doing it with intention, with awareness, with urgency. Now here's something that might surprise you. Rare coins don't always come from ancient history. They don't always belong in museums. Sometimes they're modern, recent, still circulating, which means the opportunity isn't locked away in the past. It's sitting right in your present. In your drawer. In your car. In that old jar you keep forgetting about. Funny, isn't it? The very thing most people ignore could be the very thing that changes their financial future. But let's be clear. Not every 2015 penny is worth a fortune. This is where precision matters, condition matters, authenticity matters, and most importantly, knowledge matters. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and an $862,000 coin isn't luck. It's recognition. It's knowing what to look for before everyone else does. Now imagine this scenario. You identify one. You verify it. You get it professionally graded. And suddenly, you're no longer holding spare change, you're holding leverage, opportunity, power. Because in the collector's market, the right coin in the right condition doesn't just sell. It commands attention. It creates competition. And competition drives value. Let's bring this back to you. Right now. This moment. There are coins out there waiting to be discovered. And the only difference between the people who find them and the people who don't is action. Some will hear this and move on. Others, they'll check their coins tonight. Guess which group has a chance at changing their life. Here's the truth. Wealth doesn't always arrive in obvious ways. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Sometimes it looks like something you've seen 1,000 times before. And sometimes it's as simple as a penny. But not just any penny. The right penny. The right time. In the right hands. So don't underestimate what you already have. Start looking, start learning, start paying attention. Because opportunities like this don't stay hidden forever. Once the market fully catches on, once demand spikes even higher, once collectors lock in their acquisitions, the window begins to close. And when it closes fast. You don't need to be an expert to begin, you just need to be aware. It might already be in your possession. And the only question left is, picture this, a single penny, something most people ignore, drop in jars, or leave behind at a checkout counter. Quietly sitting in your pocket, could be worth $777,000. Not a rare gold coin, not an ancient artifact, just a 2013 Lincoln penny with no mint mark hiding in plain sight. Now here's the real question. How many of these have already slipped through your hands? Let that sink in for a second. Because this isn't just about coins. It's about missed opportunities. It's about everyday people unknowingly holding life-changing wealth and letting it go for 1 cent. And today, you're going to make sure that never happens to you again. Act 1 begins with a story you might recognize. A man in his early 50s, cleaning out an old drawer, almost throws away a handful of pennies. Nothing special, right? But something stops him. Maybe intuition, maybe curiosity. He takes a closer look, and there it is, a 2013 Lincoln penny. No mint mark, slightly off, different. He gets it checked. And suddenly, what he thought was pocket change becomes a ticket to financial freedom. That moment, right there, is the difference between people who stay stuck and people who step into wealth. Now here's where things get exciting. Not every 2013 penny is valuable, but specific error coins, especially those with no mint mark combined with rare striking anomalies, are sending shockwaves through the collector market. We're talking about coins with subtle differences. Unusual texture, doubled features, off-center strikes. The kind of details most people overlook completely. And yet collectors, they hunt for these relentlessly because they know something most people don't. Rarity creates demand, and demand creates value. And let me ask you something, when was the last time you actually looked closely at your pennies? Not glanced, really looked. Because chances are you've handled thousands of coins in your life. And all it takes is one. Just one to change everything. Now Act 2. This is where urgency kicks in. The market for rare coins right now is hotter than ever. Collectors across the United States are aggressively searching for error pennies, especially modern ones like the 2013 Lincoln cent. Why? Because they're harder to find than older coins in pristine condition. Think about that. A coin from just over a decade ago, worth hundreds of thousands of dollars today. That's not luck, that's timing meeting awareness. And here's the truth most people don't realize. The window of opportunity doesn't stay open forever. As more people become aware of these coins, as more are discovered and graded, the competition increases. The people who act now, the ones who check their jars, their drawers, their forgotten collections, those are the ones who win. But wait, quick reality check. If pennies were worthless, why are collectors paying luxury car money for them? Exactly. That's your signal. Now imagine this. You're sitting at your table tonight. You grab a handful of coins. Your heart beats just a little faster. You start checking dates, details surfaces. And suddenly you notice something different. Something unusual. That moment of discovery, that's the moment everything changes. Act 3, transformation. This isn't just about coins anymore. It's about control. About knowing that hidden value exists all around you, and you have the ability to recognize it. People who build wealth aren't always chasing something new. Sometimes, they're simply seeing what others ignore. The 2013 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a symbol. A reminder that opportunity doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it looks ordinary. But for those who are paying attention, it can be life-changing. And here's the final question I want to leave you with. What if the next penny you check is the one? Because right now, somewhere in America, someone is discovering one of these coins. Someone is turning a single cent into a story of success. And there is absolutely no reason that someone can't be you. So don't wait. Don't assume. Start checking. Start learning. Because the difference between a mischance and a $777,000 breakthrough might already be sitting in your home. Imagine this: you're sitting at your kitchen table, maybe with a jar of old coins you've ignored for years, and inside that jar could be a single penny worth $795,000. Not a rare gold coin, not some ancient artifact, just a simple 2002 Lincoln penny, the kind most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. Now here's the question that should stop you in your tracks. What if you already had one and didn't even know it? Let that sink in for a moment. Because today we're uncovering one of the most overlooked, misunderstood, and potentially life-changing coin errors in modern American history, the 2002 no mint mark Lincoln cent error. And if you're serious about turning pocket change into serious wealth, this is not something you can afford to ignore. Now, before you dismiss this as hype, let's get one thing straight. The coin market has changed dramatically. What used to be a quiet collector's hobby is now a booming arena where everyday people are discovering hidden treasures and cashing out for 6, even 7 figures. And the people winning right now, they're not experts with decades of experience. They're people who decided to look closer. Back in 2002, millions of Lincoln pennies were minted in the United States. Most were completely ordinary, but a small number slipped through the cracks. These rare coins were struck without a mint mark, despite being produced in facilities where a mint mark should have been present. That's not just a minor detail, that's a critical minting error. And in the world of coin collecting, errors like this can transform a 1-cent coin into a life-changing asset. Now here's where it gets exciting and a little unsettling, because these coins weren't announced. They weren't pulled from circulation. They quietly entered everyday transactions, grocery stores, gas stations, tip jars. That means there's a real possibility that some are still out there, hiding in plain sight. Maybe in your home, maybe in a box you haven't opened in years. And here's the part most people get wrong. They assume all pennies without a mint mark are valuable. That's not true. In fact, that assumption is exactly why so many people miss the real opportunity. The value isn't just in the missing mint mark, it's in the specific characteristics of the error, the condition of the coin, and how rare that exact variation is in today's market. And right now, collectors are paying serious money for verified examples. We're talking about a current market value reaching as high as $795,000 for top condition specimens with confirmed error details. That's not a guess. That's based on actual demand from serious buyers who understand rarity, grading, and long-term investment potential. Now pause for a second and ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you actually checked your coins? Not glanced at them. Not tossed them into a drawer. Really looked. Because here's the uncomfortable truth: most people won't. They'll hear about opportunities like this and think, that's interesting, and then go right back to scrolling on their phone. Meanwhile, someone else takes 5 minutes, checks their change, and finds something extraordinary. Which side are you on? And let's talk about timing, because this is where urgency comes in. The coin market doesn't stay static. Values rise when awareness is low and demand starts building. But once the mainstream catches on, once everyone starts searching, the easy finds disappear, the market tightens, and the biggest profits, they go to the people who moved early. Right now, we're still in that window. Collectors are actively searching. Dealers are paying premiums. And coins like the 2002 no mint mark error are gaining attention, but they haven't peaked yet. This is exactly the phase where action matters most. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Come on, it's just a penny. How could something so small be worth so much? Fair question. But think about it this way: value has never been about size. It's about scarcity, demand, and timing. A tiny diamond can be worth more than a mountain of stone. A rare stamp can sell for millions. And a single coin with the right error in the right condition can completely change someone's financial trajectory. It happens more often than you think. And here's something that might surprise you: many of the highest value coins weren't found by professional collectors. They were found by ordinary people, people who paid attention, People who took a closer look when others didn't. So let's bring this back to you. Right now, somewhere in your home, there could be coins you've overlooked for years. Coins you assumed were worthless. Coins that, with just a little knowledge and attention, could turn into something far more valuable than you ever expected. Because every day you wait, every day those coins sit untouched, is another day you could be missing an opportunity. And opportunities like this don't wait forever. So here's what I want you to do. Simple but powerful. After this video, take 5 minutes. Just 5. Grab your coins. Look closely at any 2002 Lincoln pennies. Check for the absence of a mint mark. Examine the details. Start training your eye. Because the difference between someone who discovers a $795,000 coin and someone who doesn't, and once you have that awareness, everything changes. Now imagine the moment you're holding a coin, realizing it's not ordinary. Your heart starts racing. You get it verified. And suddenly, that penny becomes a gateway to a completely different lifestyle. Freedom, security, options you didn't have before. That's not fantasy. That's happening right now. To people who decided to look closer. So the real question isn't whether these coins exist. The real question is, will you be the one who finds one before someone else does? Because once it's gone, it's gone. And the next time you see a penny on the ground, you might not walk past it so quickly. Picture this, you're holding a single penny, just 1 cent, something most people ignore, drop in jars, or leave behind at a checkout counter. Now imagine that same penny quietly carrying a value of hundreds of thousands of dollars, enough to completely change your financial future. What if I told you that a specific coin, the 1992 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, has shocked collectors by reaching values as high as $729,000 in today's market? And here's the part that should stop you in your tracks. It might already be sitting somewhere in your home right now. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your spare change? Not glanced, really looked. Because most people don't. And that's exactly why life-changing opportunities like this slip through their fingers every single day. This isn't luck. This is awareness. And today, you're about to gain it. Back in 1992, millions of Lincoln pennies were minted in Denver. At first glance, they looked completely normal. Same design, same color, same size. But hidden within that batch was a rare and powerful anomaly. A subtle minting error so small that it went unnoticed for years. The letters A and M in America, on the reverse side of the coin, were struck unusually close together. To the untrained eye, it's nothing. But to collectors, it's everything. That tiny spacing difference turned an ordinary coin into one of the most sought-after treasures in modern numismatics. Now here's where things get intense. Only a handful of these error coins have ever been discovered. Not hundreds, not thousands, just a few. Think about that scarcity for a moment. In a country of over 300 million people, only a tiny number of individuals have ever held this kind of penny. And every time one appears at auction, it sends shockwaves through the collector community. Bidding wars ignite, prices climb rapidly, and just like that, a coin once worth 1 cent transforms into a 6-figure asset. Imagine the feeling, finding one in your own collection. Maybe in an old coin jar, a forgotten drawer, or a box passed down through family. Suddenly, what seemed insignificant becomes extraordinary. That's not just exciting, it's empowering. Because it means the opportunity isn't reserved for experts or insiders. It's available to anyone willing to pay attention. But let's be real for a second, this is where most people fail. They hear stories like this, feel a spark of curiosity, and then do nothing. They assume it's too rare, too complicated, or too good to be true. Meanwhile, someone else takes action and changes their life. So the real question isn't whether these coins exist. They do. The question is, will you be the one who finds one, or the one who regrets not looking? Now, you might be wondering, what makes this specific penny worth as much as $729,000 today? Comes down to 3 powerful forces: rarity, condition, and demand. The rarer the coin, the higher its potential value. The better its condition, the more collectors are willing to pay. And right now, demand for error coins, especially Lincoln pennies, is stronger than ever. Why? Because more people are waking up to the hidden wealth sitting in everyday objects. And here's a quick reality check with a twist. If pennies were truly worthless, why are serious investors spending hundreds of thousands of dollars chasing them? Exactly. That's your pattern interrupt. What most people ignore. The smart ones pursue. As you begin to understand this world, you'll notice something fascinating. Every rare coin has a story, a mistake, a moment in time where something didn't go as planned, and that imperfection created massive value. There's a lesson in that. Sometimes what looks like a flaw is actually the most valuable part. So what should you do next? Start looking. Not casually, but intentionally. Examine your coins. Pay attention to details. Learn to recognize what others overlook. Because the truth is, these opportunities don't announce themselves. They hide in plain sight, waiting for the right person to notice. And let me leave you with this thought. Somewhere, right now, there's a 1992 D Lincoln penny sitting unnoticed. It could be in a jar, a pocket, a drawer, or even passing through someone's hands at this very moment. The only difference between the person who discovers it and the one who doesn't is awareness and action. So the next time you see a penny, don't dismiss it. Don't ignore it. Look at it like it might change your life, because one day one of them just might. Imagine holding a simple penny, just 1 cent, something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up. Now imagine that same coin quietly sitting in your drawer. Could be worth $834,000. Yes, you heard that right. Over $800,000 for a coin that looks almost identical to the one in your pocket right now. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Because in 1991, something happened at the US Mint that most people still don't know about. A tiny detail. So small that millions missed it, but collectors? They're hunting for it right now. And here's the part that should make you stop everything. Some of these coins are still in circulation. That means someone watching this, right now, could already have one. Now before you brush this off, thinking, there's no way I'd be that lucky. Let me remind you, every single rare coin story starts with someone who had no idea what they were holding. Regular people. Not experts. Not collectors. Just people like you. And if you miss this, someone else won't. Let's talk about the coin that's turning heads and opening wallets. The 1991 Lincoln penny with no mint mark error. Now normally, pennies from Philadelphia don't carry a mint mark. But here's where things get interesting. The real value comes from a specific type of production anomaly tied to this year, subtle variations, die issues, and misstrikes that only trained eyes used to notice, until now. Collectors have identified versions of the 1991 penny that show unusual characteristics, slight doubling, weak strikes, or missing clarity in areas that should be sharp. And when these errors combine in just the right way, the value skyrockets. We're not talking about a few $100s. We're talking about life-changing money. One verified example, in near-perfect condition, reached a market valuation of $834,000. That's not hype, that's demand meeting rarity. Now here's the twist. Most people still don't check. They toss pennies in jars. They ignore them at checkout. Some people literally leave them on the ground. Imagine walking past nearly $1 million, because it didn't look important. But it happens every single day. And here's a question that might make you uncomfortable. What if you already had one and spent it? That's the fear most collectors live with. But here's the exciting part. You don't need to be an expert to start spotting potential winners. You just need awareness and a willingness to look closer than everyone else. Take out a penny. Seriously, pause for a second and grab one. Look at the date. Look at the surface. Look at the details around Lincoln's face and the lettering. Feels different now, doesn't it? That's because you're no longer seeing a coin. You're seeing an opportunity. Now let's connect the dots. Why is this coin so valuable? Simple: rarity, condition, and demand. The perfect storm. And right now, the market for rare US coins is stronger than ever. Wealthy collectors are actively searching for hidden gems, and they are willing to pay extraordinary prices to secure them. This isn't just about coins, it's about awareness. It's about realizing that value is often hidden in plain sight, and the people who train themselves to see it are the ones who win. Think about the lifestyle that comes with a discovery like this. Financial freedom, security, options, the ability to say yes to opportunities instead of worrying about limitations. All from a single coin. Now here's where urgency comes in. Every day you wait, more coins are found. More enter private collections. Fewer remain in circulation. The window is closing. And the people who act now, they're the ones who benefit. So tonight, don't scroll past this moment. Check your coins. Check your drawers. Check that jar sitting in the corner that you haven't touched in years. Because hidden inside something ordinary could be something extraordinary. And remember, the difference between someone who finds a rare coin and someone who doesn't. Picture this: you're holding a simple penny, the kind most people toss into a jar without a second thought. But what if that tiny coin in your hand could be worth more than a luxury home? What if I told you that a rare 1989 Lincoln penny, without a mint mark, has stunned collectors with values reaching as high as $811,000? Before you dismiss this as hype, stay with me, because what you're about to learn could completely change how you look at every coin you own. Let's step into Act 1, the discovery. It's 1989. Millions of pennies are being minted across the United States. To the average person, they all look the same. But hidden among those ordinary coins are rare variations. Tiny minting errors that only a trained eye or a lucky finder would ever notice. One of the most intriguing, the 1989 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, combined with subtle die errors that make it exceptionally valuable. Now here's the twist. Most people don't even know what a mint mark is. Quick check. Do you? It's that tiny letter beneath the date indicating where the coin was produced. No letter typically means Philadelphia, but in rare cases, something unusual happens during production, and that's where opportunity begins. Now imagine this: a collector, just like you, sorting through old change. Maybe it's a rainy afternoon. Maybe it's boredom. Then suddenly, pause. Something looks different. The lettering feels sharper, the surface slightly off, the details unusual. That moment? That's the moment that can turn pocket change into life-changing money. Sounds crazy? Maybe. But history has proven it again and again. Welcome to Act 2, the revelation. The truth is, the coin market isn't just for experts anymore. It's a goldmine hiding in plain sight, especially for those willing to pay attention. The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny has become one of those coins that serious collectors hunt aggressively. Why? Scarcity, condition, and error combinations. When all three align, the value skyrockets. And here's where things get exciting. Recent auction trends and private sales have pushed rare examples of these pennies into jaw-dropping territory. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, even approaching that astonishing $811,000 mark under the right conditions. Now let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at your coins? Not glanced, really looked. Because while others are scrolling endlessly on their phones, some people are quietly building wealth, one coin at a time. And here's the emotional trigger most people ignore: fear of missing out. Every single day, rare coins are discovered, sold, and flipped for massive profits. And every day, countless people unknowingly spend or ignore coins that could have changed their financial future. But let's break the pattern for a second. If pennies could talk, they'd probably say, "Stop spending me at gas stations." Funny, right? But also painfully true. The difference between someone who cashes in and someone who misses out often comes down to awareness and action. Back to the story. As demand grows, so does competition. Collectors aren't just hobbyists anymore. They're investors. They're strategic, informed, and ready to pay top dollar for coins that meet their criteria. The 1989 no-mint mark penny sits right in that sweet spot of mystery, rarity, and demand. And here's the urgency. Coins like this don't wait around forever. Once discovered and graded, they often disappear into private collections, sometimes for decades. Now we enter Act 3, the transformation. This is where you come in. Imagine turning your curiosity into a profitable habit. Imagine going through your old jars, drawers, inherited collections, not with doubt, but with purpose. Because now you know what to look for. You're no longer just holding coins, you're holding potential assets. And let's talk lifestyle for a moment. What would an extra 6 figures or even a fraction of that mean to you? Paying off debts, traveling freely, investing smarter, living with confidence. It all sounds distant, until it isn't. Until that one discovery changes everything. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Wealth doesn't always come from working harder. Sometimes it comes from seeing what others overlook. And right now, rare coins, especially undervalued ones like the 1989 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, are one of those overlooked opportunities. So before you move on from this video, take a moment. Think about where your coins are. That old piggy bank. That forgotten box. That collection you inherited but never explored. Because hidden inside could be something extraordinary. And who knows, your next penny might not just be worth 1 cent. It might be worth a story, a breakthrough, or even $811,000. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, a coin so ordinary that most people would toss it into a jar without a second thought. Yet this exact coin could quietly be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, today we're uncovering the astonishing truth behind the 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a coin that has stunned collectors, sparked bidding wars, and in rare cases, reached values as high as $765,000. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket? Exactly. That's where the opportunity and the danger lies. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. People across America unknowingly spend or ignore coins that could change their financial future overnight. And the difference between someone who cashes in big and someone who misses out is simply awareness. Today, you're about to gain that awareness. Let's step into the story. Back in 1986, millions of Lincoln pennies were produced across U.S. mints. At first glance, these coins appear completely standard. Copper-plated zinc composition, Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile, nothing extraordinary. But hidden within this sea of coins lies a small group of rare anomalies. Coins that either lack a visible mint mark due to striking errors or possess unique characteristics that elevate them far beyond face value. Now you might be thinking, wait, no mint mark? Isn't that normal? Good question. That's exactly what makes this so fascinating. Philadelphia minted coins traditionally carried no mint mark during that time. But here's where it gets interesting. Certain error variations, striking inconsistencies, or rare transitional anomalies within that year have created coins that collectors obsess over, and obsession drives value. Let me ask you something. If I handed you 2 identical-looking pennies and told you one was worth 1 cent and the other was worth over $500,000, would you be able to tell the difference? Most people wouldn't, and that's precisely why these coins still slip through circulation today. Now imagine this. A man cleaning out his garage finds an old jar of coins. Dusty, forgotten, overlooked for years. He almost takes them straight to the bank. But something stops him. He decides to check. Just check. And hidden among those coins was a rare 1986 penny variant that later sold for an extraordinary amount. That moment, right there, that decision to pause instead of rush. That's the moment that separates ordinary outcomes from life-changing ones. Here's where things get serious. The 1986 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny becomes incredibly valuable under specific conditions. We're talking about coins with exceptional minting errors, off-center strikes, double dies, unusual planchet compositions, or pristine uncirculated condition combined with rarity factors. These are not just coins, they are numismatic anomalies, and the market for them is fiercely competitive. Collectors are not casually browsing. They are hunting, and when a rare specimen surfaces, it doesn't sit quietly. It ignites attention. Auctions heat up, prices climb, and suddenly a 1-cent coin transforms into a 6-figure asset. Now here's the part most people get wrong. They assume rarity alone creates value. It doesn't. Rarity plus demand plus condition. That's the formula. And right now, demand is stronger than ever. Why? Because more people are waking up to alternative investments. Coins are no longer just collectibles. They're assets, tangible, historical, and in many cases rapidly appreciating. Let me interrupt this for a second with a quick reality check. If pennies were worthless, why are collectors paying luxury car prices for them? Exactly. The current market has seen top-tier 1986 penny errors reach astonishing figures, with some estimates and high-grade auction results pushing toward that $765,000 range under the right conditions. Not every coin will reach that level, but the possibility exists, and that possibility is what fuels this entire market. And here's where urgency comes in. Every day, coins are lost, damaged, or spent without a second glance. Every day, Potential value disappears simply because someone didn't know what to look for. But now you do. So what should you be paying attention to? Start with condition. Coins that appear untouched, with sharp details and original luster, immediately stand out. Then look for anomalies, doubling in the lettering, unusual spacing, off-center designs, or anything that feels just slightly off. Trust that instinct, because in the world of coin collecting, slightly off can mean massively valuable. And don't underestimate professional grading. A coin authenticated and graded by a reputable service can multiply its value dramatically. It's the difference between guessing and proving. Now let's bring this full circle. We started with a simple idea, a penny, something almost everyone ignores. But hidden within that simplicity is a powerful truth. Value is often overlooked because it appears ordinary. And those who take the time to look deeper are the ones who unlock it. So the next time you receive change, don't just drop it into a jar. Don't dismiss it. Examine it. Question it. Because sitting quietly in your pocket could be an opportunity most people will never even realize existed. And let me leave you with this thought. What if the coin that could change your financial future is already in your possession? You're holding a penny, just 1 cent. You've probably ignored thousands of them in your life. But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking coin from 1985 could be worth $923,000 right now? And most people wouldn't even recognize it sitting in their own pocket. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might look at every single penny differently for the rest of your life. Let's begin with a simple truth. Wealth doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. In 1985, millions of Lincoln pennies were minted across the United States. They were ordinary, common, and easily overlooked. But among them, a rare variation, marked with a small D mint mark, slipped through the system with a critical error, a mistake, a flaw. And today, that flaw is what makes it incredibly valuable. Now here's where things get interesting. Most people assume valuable coins are ancient, dusty relics locked away in museums. But this isn't the case. This 1985 D Lincoln penny could have passed through vending machines, gas stations, or even your own wallet decades ago. Imagine that. Nearly $1 million traded for a cup of coffee. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly how rare coin discoveries happen. The error we're talking about isn't something obvious like a broken coin or a missing piece. It's subtle. Precision level subtle. A doubling effect, a misalignment during the minting process, or an abnormal strike that only trained eyes or very lucky owners can detect. And here's the emotional trigger most people miss. Thousands of these coins are still out there, unrecognized, sitting in jars, drawers, old piggy banks, maybe even in that forgotten box in your attic. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Not glanced, not spent, but really examined it? If your answer is never, you're not alone. And that's exactly why opportunities like this still exist. Because while most people ignore pennies, a small group of informed collectors are quietly turning them into life-changing assets. Now picture this. You find one of these rare 1985 D-era pennies. You send it for authentication. Weeks later, the confirmation arrives. It's genuine. The market value? Up to $923,000 depending on condition. What would that do for your life? Your home? Your family? Your retirement? That single moment could shift everything. But here's the urgency you need to understand. This opportunity isn't infinite. Every year, more of these rare coins are discovered, verified, and absorbed into private collections. The longer you wait, the fewer remain in circulation. And once they're gone, they're gone. This isn't just about curiosity anymore. It's about timing. Now, let's address the doubt creeping into your mind. If it's so valuable, why haven't I heard about it before? Fair question. The truth is, the rare coin market operates quietly. High-value transactions don't always make headlines. Serious collectors move discreetly, and the biggest deals often happen behind closed doors. By the time the general public catches on, the best opportunities are already taken. And here's a quick reality check. No, not every 1985 D penny is worth a fortune. I wish it were that easy, right? But the specific error variations are what separate a 1-cent coin from a 6-figure asset. That's why knowledge is your greatest advantage. The more you understand what to look for, the higher your chances of spotting something extraordinary. Think about it like this. People spend years chasing promotions, investments, and side hustles hoping to build wealth. Yet some of the most powerful opportunities are already within reach, hidden in everyday objects. Coins. Simple, overlooked coins. Let's shift perspective for a moment. Imagine two people. One person spends pennies without thinking twice. The other takes a few seconds to examine them, to understand them, to recognize potential. 10 years later, who do you think is more likely to stumble upon a life-changing discovery? It's not luck, it's awareness. And here's where excitement meets action. Starting today, every penny you come across becomes a possibility. Not a guarantee, but a possibility. And in the world of wealth building, that's everything. Because all it takes is one. So the next time you receive change, don't dismiss it. Pause. Look closely. Check the date. Find that mint mark. Because hidden within the smallest details could be something extraordinary. And let's be honest. If someone told you a single penny could be worth nearly $1 million, would you really want to ignore that? This isn't just about coins. It's about mindset. It's about seeing value where others see nothing. It's about taking small, intentional actions that could lead to massive rewards. Your journey into rare coins doesn't require millions to start. It starts with awareness, curiosity, and a willingness to look closer than everyone else. Because right now, somewhere in America, a 1985 era penny is still waiting to be discovered.